thing for its own existence?
I say there are a variety of ways. The first way I go to is just the fact that it's finite. So the fact that the universe and everything in it is finite shows that...
How do you know it's finite?
Well, again, that would be the evidence of all the cosmology behind it.
Give me an example of an evidence that's finite.
Okay, for example, redshifting, showing the expansion of the universe. We know that you can't have an eternally expanding universe, otherwise we wouldn't see the redshift that we currently see to the extent
Okay, so it's expanding. You want less expanding.
Right, but
fine.
Right.
Good. Point taken.
Right, so the current evidence is
finite.
The universe is finite.
Finite, good.
Right. That is one key. You can't be independent, fully independent, if you are finite.
Why?
Because for your very existence to come into existence, it required a prior cause to then make you come into existence.
So, if your existence is dependent on someone else, that makes you finite.
No. I didn't say
Explain
that.
again.
Okay, so because this is the thing, if for your temporal existence to come in, if you are not existing at one point and then come into existence...
Doesn't matter, time doesn't come in.
Okay, but...
If you are caused...
If you come, it's not causation, it's if you come into existence.
Is the universe caused by the creator?
Yes, yes.
Right, so it's causation.
There are different types of causation.
So no, it is caused. I am not interested in temporal, which is time-bound, or atemporal, which is not time-bound. The fact is, it is caused. Causation can be temporal, within a time, or it could be atemporal with no time limits.
Yeah.
The fact is, it's caused, meaning this thing, this universe, is already dependent for its own existence on a cause.
Sure, but
right.
Issue that
so
it comes in
being caused, can you call this universe the maximally perfect being?
No.
Why not?
Because it doesn't possess all the attributes necessary and sufficient for maximum.
So it doesn't possess. If something is caused by another cause, can it be maximally perfect being in any way, shape or form?
Yes.
How?
Because it can be omnipotent, omniscient,
Show me how.
benevolent, and maximally
Show me how.
perfect. Okay, so the example, obviously, we're giving analogous examples, but really we're talking about the sun, God the sun. Right?
No, I'm not talking about the sun.
Okay,
I'm talking about anything.
Mansour,
anything. I'm not talking about your Trinitarian or Quadritarian belief.
This is what we know.
No, we are talking about how can you have a caused creation. Anything that's caused is created.
No, that's not true. Again, you just showed your...
Hang on. What is creation?
No, I'm asking you.
I'm asking you the question now.
No.
What is creation?
You made an assertion, and I'm showing your assertion is false.
Okay.
You said anything that is caused comes into existence with finite. So that's just
no. I'm saying creation.
Okay, I know. But
anything that is caused, tell me why it's not a creation.
Okay, I understand. Right. Okay. There are two types of causation. Okay. There is a normal type of causation, which is called nomological causation.
Who defines that?
Okay. Can I finish? And there is another type of causation, which is called metaphysical causation. Nomological causation is the usual type that we're used to, right? So I push a ball, I have caused it to move. That occurs within time. I have to precede it, and then it comes. And I brought about a new state of affairs.
Temporal.
Yeah, it's temporal.
I've explained that already to you.
Metaphysical causation doesn't require time.
I've explained that already to you.
Simultaneous causation.
So why are you repeating something I already explained?
So this is why it shows you don't need causation to infer creation, because the causation and effect can exist at the same time. Therefore, it doesn't have to come into existence, so it's not created. So the sun,
what is creation?
The sun has always existed.
What is creation?
By the Father.
What is creation?
What is creation?
Yeah.
It's the sum totality of what God has brought into existence.
When God brings something to existence, does He cause it to bring into existence?
Yeah, sure. That's one type of causation.
So when He calls it, when He calls it,
yeah.
What's the difference between when you say creation, right? Creation.
Yeah.
Can creation be atemporal?
Not in principle, no.
Why not?
Because, well, as in, it kind of just depends how you want to define creation. Well, it does.
Why not? Creation is other than, and for example, anything that is caused prior to being caused, prior in the atemporal sense.
You can't have, okay, well then it's redundant to say prior. It's redundant to say prior.
Does it make sense then to you to say a creation can precede the creator?
Not really, no.
Why is it time-bound?
No. Why is what time-bound?
Why is creation concept time-bound?
Okay, because it doesn't eternally exist. That's part of what we understand creation to be.
Are you saying God could not make an eternal creation atemporally?
Well, okay, there's different types of externality.
I'm asking you a very simple question.
I need to explain there are nuances to it. You can't paint with large brushstrokes, okay? God could make a universe that starts at time 0.
I'm not bringing time in.
I'm answering your question. And continues on eternally, okay? That's one option. What God cannot do, because it is a logical contradiction, would be for God to create a universe which has eternally existed.
What does create mean here?
Bring into existence. That's why it's a nonsensical.
No, when you say bring into existence, that means it didn't priorly exist prior.
Yeah, bring into existence.
Right. So when God is causing someone atemporally, is he bringing into existence?
Not necessarily, no. Causation is different.
So wait. So when God causes something atemporally, what is he doing?
He's talking about metaphysical causation.
What is he doing by being this cause? He is being the cause of something in an atemporal sense. What is it happening? What's God doing?
I literally don't know how to explain that to you.
No.
It is what it says on the tin.
That's what you...
Something else.
You said God causes atemporally. What is God doing? Sorry?
He can cause atemporally.
What is he doing?
Causing.
No, what does it mean, cause? Explain.
Okay, can I explain to you why I can't answer your question? Okay? Because you're asking me, what does it mean for God in infinity and eternity to be causing something in eternity?
What does cause mean to you, causing something?
What does causation mean?
What does causation mean? Precisely.
Okay, there are 2 types of causation.
You've explained that already. Metaphysical causation.
So I've explained to you that
we've gone through that already. Okay. Do not repeat again. Okay. It's no point.
So the nomological causation that we have here requires...
Ignore that.
Okay, I'm making a clear distinction so you understand what this other one is. Okay? This one requires a prior cause to the effect. This one is the same principle of causation, but it doesn't require the cause to be prior to the effect, and they can coexist eternally. That's how it works. You're now asking me, okay, how do the intricacies of that causation play out?
I'm asking you, what do you mean by causation?
That's beyond my comprehension. I don't exist in eternity.
You're using a word that you didn't even know what it means.
Because, okay, wait, how can I give you a practical explanation?
No, you're using a word that you have no idea what it means. Don't use it.
I did explain what it meant.
No, you only said there are 2 types of causation.
Yeah,
but my central question to you is, what do you mean by causation? Okay. Not the branches and the different types of causation.
Okay, I mean that the one which causes is...
No, what do you mean by causes?
Can I finish the sentence?
The word cause is in dispute at this minute.
Okay, Mansour, if I say to you that the one who causes is metaphysically prior, does that mean anything? Exactly.
If I... No, I'm not answering that. Sorry. When I say no, I'm not answering your question. I'm asking you this. When you use the word cause, I'm simply asking you define the word cause and causation.
Okay, and I've given you an explanation of it.
No, I'm asking you to define it.
Okay, fine. Shall I literally get you the definition of causation?
Up to you. Define it.
Sure. But it won't get you... Okay, the problem is that...
No, I need an answer to what do you mean by causation.
Mansour, the problem is that you're asking what does causation mean. You're not asking for a dictionary definition. You're asking...
Did I ask you to bring a dictionary?
Wait.
I asked you a simple question.
Okay, you're asking for the machinations of how that plays out and works, right? And I'm saying even if I give you a dictionary definition...
No, I want to know what causation means.
Right, even if I give you a dictionary definition...
Which you would have to agree with it, right?
It won't
give me a definition of what it is. Give me a definition that you agree.
Actually, I don't have internet.
Right, so tell me now, what do you mean by causation?
Okay, and I've explained to you what I meant by causation.
No, you haven't explained it.
I'll explain again.
No, you haven't explained. You've only given me there's 2 types of causation, time-bound and not time-bound. Right. I'm asking you, what do you mean by causation?
Okay. And I mean that the one who causes is...
What do you mean one by causes? The word causes is what is...
The cause. Okay.
No. When you say one causes, what does it mean by cause? When something causes something else, when someone causes, what is this causation? What does it mean?
Okay. For a certain state of affairs that obtains for the effect, or the object to whom the effect applies, the cause is that which ontologically and metaphysically applies
that object
to it.
That object didn't exist before the causation.
Yeah. Well, no. Sorry. In this case...
Try again.
No.
The object that God applies the cause...
No. It's not before or after. It's simultaneous causation and effect.
What does it mean by cause again?
Say again?
But you're not answering the cause again. I'm trying to understand what you mean by cause. Yeah. So you have an object, right? You have an object.
Yeah.
Either the object was always there, or it wasn't.
Yeah, sure.
Right. So when God applies the cause, what does it mean he applies the cause?
God eternally applies the cause.
Did I say eternally or temporarily?
No, but this is why it makes a difference.
No, I am telling you, I'm being charitable to you. I'm saying either in a temporal or atemporal sense.
Okay.
You have difficulty in the temporal sense, leave that aside. In the atemporal sense, in a metaphysical sense, what do you mean by God applies his cause to an object?
Okay, I mean that God is the grounding for the existence of that other object.
What do you mean by grounding?
God is the first principle.
What do you mean by grounding? Every word that you use, I haven't got a clue what it means.
Okay, wait, can I explain something? Okay. The first are the temporal causation, right? I can explain that to you.
You are again going back to something that we said, don't bring it in.
No, but listen.
Because you are creating some problems for your own self.
I'm not.
Okay, let's make it simple. So now, we're going to write this down. So, we want to know what the word causation means. Causation, right? You said grounding. One second.
Metaphysical
One second.
Yes.
Do you know what grounding means? Grounding. Do you know what it means? Do you? Raise your hands who knows what grounding means when it means causation. Raise your hands. There are about 20 people there, 15, 20 people. No one raised their hands. Wait. So no one have understood what you mean by grounding.
Okay.
So explain again what you mean by causation.
Okay. And you need to let me finish my sentence, okay?
Go ahead.
Okay, so this is my point. And I'm answering your question. I'm not sidetracking, even though I'm talking about temporal initially, okay? The reason why I can explain to you temporal causation very easily is because I can give you examples that substantiate all my points of that causation. I can't give you any other examples of atemporal causation.
I didn't ask for example.
Wait. Other than the one I immediately have to mind to help you understand it, right? When I then give you the explanation of it, I then use specific terms like grounding and priority and so on, and you don't understand that. Now, I admit, I'm probably not the best at explaining this, but that doesn't mean that my point is redundant. I need to perhaps work on explaining it more simply, but I don't have any other substitute terms at my fingertips that I can say other than grounding, priority, and like hierarchical structure of reality. God the Father, because this is what we're talking about, God the Father is more hierarchical priority, he's in a space of priority compared to the Son. He's the metaphysical grounding for the Son. But the reason that's not a problem is because the cause of the Father and the effect of the Son are simultaneous eternally. So there is no time at which God the Son does not exist and where God the Father does not exist, and they're reciprocally dependent. So there's no issue with that, okay? That's my conundrum explanation. Back to you.
Right. So you did exactly precisely what I was thinking you're going to do. I asked you for a definition, not an explanation. So now try again. What do you mean by causation? Define your term. Don't explain, don't give me an analogy, define your term. Because in logic, in philosophy, we define our terms. So you defined earlier by grounding, none of us understood what it means. Well, ignore me. None of the audience understood what grounding meant. So try again with another word. In the English language, what do you mean by causation?
Okay.
And that means causation by God to an object.
Okay, so I've listened to your question, okay? When you define something, often that involves giving in substitute, basically, terms that mean the same thing. I have given you the terms of priority, grounding, and so on, which explain these terms.
Priority, okay.
You
priority.
Might understand what...
Hang on.
Wait.
Don't say...
Let me finish something.
Okay.
You might not understand what metaphysical grounding is, okay, because we don't practically have examples of that, but that doesn't mean that that's not a definition. Now, I don't have the dictionary definition before me, I just don't have internet on my phone.
I didn't ask you for a dictionary definition.
You asked for a definition.
Definition.
Okay, why would me giving you a dictionary definition?
I didn't ask for strawman argument again and again.
I'm asking you a question.
You're committing strawman fallacy again and again.
I'm not.
I asked you a definition. No, I'm telling you, you're committing strawman fallacy over and over again. I ask you for a definition, you give me an explanation. I ask you a definition, you're telling me a dictionary definition. Look, even in philosophy, the philosophers can have their own vocabulary, what they mean by what they mean. It doesn't have to be a Merriam-Webster dictionary or Oxford and Cambridge dictionaries. They might include the philosophical definitions. Let me ask you again, one more try, okay? If you don't know, you can go and learn, no problem, you can talk again. Define what you mean by causation?
So I would say I have already defined it by giving substitute terms like grounding, metaphysical priority, and
Metaphysical
being
priority
hierarchical in the structure of reality. Okay, I've given those substitute terms, right? Now, if you say that doesn't,
hold on,
wait,
hold on. No, I'm going to understand these terms.
Let me finish. If you say that doesn't count as
hierarchical what? I didn't hear it. Hierarchical what?
In a hierarchical state of priority.
Hierarchical state of priority.
Yeah. Okay. If you're saying that doesn't suffice as a definition, then I guess I don't know the definition. I'll tell you this.
I need to understand what you said so far.
Let me quit. I don't have the skill to simply explain without using these other terms. I don't know how to.
No, we'll take this term. We'll take this term.
Yeah.
So, a causation means hierarchical state of priority. Now let me ask the audience again. What we mean by causation, to cause something on an object, means hierarchical state of priority.
I didn't say that's the definition of it. Can I just
wait. Yeah. I'll give you the chance again.
Yeah, sure.
So the definitions of, you said substitute words and terms. You said metaphysical priority.
Yeah.
Right? Metaphysical priority. Wait, 1 second.
Yeah.
Do you understand metaphysical priority? No. This is what causation means? Tell me, explain that. What does it mean, metaphysical priority, which means causation?
It means that it is existence.
It means, sorry?
The sun's existence comes from...
I'm not talking about the sun. The very definition of a cause. Cause and effect. You're not talking about sun and bananas. I'm sorry.
So do you expect...
I'm asking you to explain when you say God caused something. God caused the universe. So God caused the universe. The word cause means what? So this is the definition of the term that you're using in your sentence. God caused something into whatever. Cause. You're defining cause as the metaphysical priority.
No,
you don't mean that, do you?
That's not exactly what I said.
So, let me ask you again. What do you mean by the word cause when God causes something?
Do you want to ask a question to qualify what you mean by that question? Do you expect that God's causation eternally is going to operate in the same way as the cause within creation?
I want to know what do you mean by cause. It's not how it operates. What is cause?
He's asking you for a fact. He doesn't know how to answer your question.
So you don't know what causation means?
He's asking for clarification.
I'm asking for
No, I am saying, when you say, how does cause operate? Now, you're still asking, this thing that is causation, this is what it does, X, Y, and Z. I'm saying, no, not what it does. What do you even mean by the word causation?
Well, normally when I use the word causation, I'm talking about things that are within creation, so it obviously applies in a particular way.
What does it mean, causation, in creation?
Normally, it's the thing which...
it brings about a new state of affairs.
So,
Sorry, it brings about a state of affairs. It doesn't have to be new.
So it brings about a state of affairs.
Yeah.
A state of affairs.
When obviously everything I experience in this world, that's the normal way that works. Obviously, when I talk about